This is the final show. There won't be any big fanfare in the media like when Cheers went off the air, but we don't want that anyway. All we ever wanted on the show was the chance to do a revolutionary, college-oriented television program that would appeal to any intellectuals that might be in the area. Needless to say, that hasn't happened. What you, the television audience, got was a cheap knockoff of every stinking low-grade talk show that's ever been on the air. We apologize to the producers of the other fine shows seen here on TV-5 and applaud their creativity, especially those that review the movies. Summer hideaway for UW football coach Barry Alvarez. It's Sunday night. Tonight, UW band leader Mike LaCrone, 63 Rose Bowl team member Dion Kempthorne, and featuring the music of Susie Dobbs and Tammy Gosnell, plus the Sunday night band. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the star of the show, Todd Alba.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to our fine Sunday night band. Give them a hand. What a great job they're doing over there, huh? And, you know, boys, be on your best behavior because we have the dean of college bands here tonight. So, you know, be prepared. Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the big show, our final installment here. And, you know, isn't it ironic that our final studio audience, not unlike our first studio audience of the semester, but we're happy to have each and every one of you here, and, of course, our home viewer as well. You know, I was reading the newspaper this morning. Got up this morning, and I was in Eau Claire over the weekend, the big basketball road trip there for the Pioneers. Reading the paper this morning, I remember John Bobbitt, of course, the gentleman who had his lower extremity shaved off by his wife. John Bobbitt now, apparently he wants to get away from his estranged wife, Lorena Bobbitt, wants to move away from her as far away as humanly possible. He wants to go to Missouri, I guess. But we all know that Missouri is the show-me state, if you know what I mean. not a lot to show anymore. Anyway, what else is new? Oh, here on campus, campus news, University of Wisconsin-Platteville News, Focus 2000. That's right, it's a new big program here the chancellor has come up with. He wants to combine colleges in the university, maybe cut some majors as well, just generally try to save money and cut back on expenses and everything. And you know, if that doesn't work, apparently now he's learned, because he's heard this has worked so well in the past, Chancellor Culbertson's going to hold a garage sale. So, and nobody in the studio audience knows what that means, but you know, if you've been around, the band gets it, see? Those fine Chancellor garage sales. The Bears lost today, too, so all that stuff that former Chancellor Smyrny has gone down in value. Anyway. Jill, I'm excited about tonight's show because a lot of television programs are going with the Christmas theme this week. It's getting the Christmas season and everything. But here in Wisconsin, and particularly here on a university campus, it's a Rose Bowl show. I'm excited. It's going to be just great tonight. I have a lot of great guests and everything, and it's been a long time since the Badgers have been to a Rose Bowl, 31 years, as a matter of fact. Last time the Badgers went, things were different. Leave It to Beaver was the #1 show on television back then. Tickets for the Rose Bowl were only $6, and Madonna was still a virgin. So right there, it's been a heck of a long time since those Badgers have been in the Rose Bowl. Anyway, we got a great show for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Mike LaCrone is here tonight. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Also on the team, we have a 1963 Rose Bowl team member, Dion Kempthorne, on the program as well. Also, we have singing babes, and they are babes, let me tell you. Singing babes Susie Dobbs and Tammy Gosnell on the program. So they'll be great. And also, our fine Sunday night band. Say hello to Tom Vendenhoven and the boys over there. Hello, Tom. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Todd?
Well, I can't complain. It's gonna be a great show. I have a good feeling. And a couple of new guys sitting in tonight. Well, you know, Doc's been here before. But why don't you introduce our new person here tonight?
Yeah, it's Paul Backstrom sitting in for us tonight on the bass.
Paul Baxter. Nice to have you along, Paul. What happened to Dan?
He's studying for finals.
Oh, you know, probably something I should be doing. But, you know, when have I studied before? Anyway. You know, I feel a little constricted in the suit. I bought myself, my mom bought me a new suit this week for Christmas. She sent me a little money, went down there and bought this fine new suit down at Clothes for Him this week. And, you know, but I feel a little constricted in the whole thing. So, Mark, you were playing some nice music there before we went on the air. Give me a little bit of that if you would, please. As I make a quick clothes change here. Just go ahead. There we go. Yes, indeed. What more do you want? God, look at that. Look at that. We are ready. Look at this. This is, look, and I want you to get a close-up of this, or at least a shot of this, because Clothes for Him in downtown Platteville was nice enough to loan us this stuff, or give it to us. And here we have your official licensed product right here. And make sure they're licensed. Product of the Rose Bowl right here. You can get these, we can't tell you a price, but they're less than 25 bucks. And this isn't the cheap stuff here, folks. This is the good stuff. It's heavy, 50-50, and wow, they're wonderful. They have a large assortment down there at Clothes for Him in downtown Platteville, so make sure you stop down there. And we thank Spence Christian and all the guys down there for doing that for us. Also, the coats were available. They're sold out, I guess. I don't know in Madison if there's any more left around or not, but they're going like the proverbial hotcakes, I guess. And the Rose Bowl hat. Look at that. Yes, indeed. Rose Bowl hat. Well, you know, I thought Troy Everson, our usual sidekick, is not with us tonight. Don't know where he is. He's getting drunk again, I think. But he's over at graduation, I think, actually. So we thought maybe what we'd do is a little history, if you would, of since it is a Rose Bowl show, a courtesy of the Wisconsin State Journal. Thought we'd just show you a few of the headlines here. And wow, we'll start off with today's paper. And Chuck, shall I use this camera right in front of me for a close-up shot here? Is that all right? This is today's paper here. One of the cheerleaders from, geez, I don't know what it is here, actually, what team it was. The 1953 Rose Bowl cheerleader. She's in the paper today, and she's ready to go. Once again, look at it, there you go. She's ready to go to Pasadena again and share a great little story on her in there. And what else have we got here? Let's just kind of go back to Sunday, September 5th. And this was one for the record books was the headline. It's when they beat Nevada, first game of the season, 35-17. There you go, 35-17. And who would have ever thunk back then the Badgers would be going to the Rose Bowl? But there you go, here's your headline. It created all the hoopla. And, you know, Badgers are going to the Rose Bowl. After that, we go on to Sunday, September 17th. The Badgers go 6-0. Share first place with Ohio State. Run for the Roses was the headline here. And people are starting to get pretty darn excited, I think, in Madison and all over the state of Wisconsin. And so there we go. There we go. Look at that. Run for the Roses. Look at those guys. They were excited. They were happy. Donna Shalala was saying, why the hell am I in Washington, D.C.? I should have stayed in Madison. The excitement's better there. Anyway, but what is Donna doing now? I don't know. Probably not having nearly as much fun as we are back in Wisconsin, though. UW, this is just from the same paper there. And then, of course, really, I think something for the entire community to get over, but the team in particular. He had the big injuries, of course, down when Wisconsin beat Michigan and injured out of danger, it says here. And, of course, a very serious news story. Sports oftentimes turning to news, and indeed was the case here, as you saw the damage there in the student section when a number of students rushed the field and the gates weren't open, or whatever you want to call it. But a serious injury, and thank God nobody got hurt there, or at least killed, I should say. There was some serious injury. Everybody recovered, and the Badgers were able to go on. Just a couple more here. Sunday, November 21st, 35-10 win puts the Badgers in control. Of course, that was the win over Illinois. And that was the weekend that Kevin O'Connor and I were down in Columbus, Ohio, covering the Pioneer basketball team. And, of course, the Buckeyes, the Ohio State Buckeyes, so they had the things sewn up. They had a woman on there that was making little Buckeye candies and everything and talked about Pasadena. She thought it was great and everything, but hey, Michigan clobbered them. And finally, we go to Monday, December. Well, first of all, let's show this one. We have it back up on the wall over here. Believe it is the headline here. It was a sports extra. The Badgers make it to the Rose Bowl with a win in the Tokyo Dome over there, 41-20, and wow. We're on our way. It should be a great show tonight. We're going to kind of reminisce. We have Scott Klug on the program, Congressman Scott Klug, talking about the Rose Bowl and some of the other things via videotape. We have Pat Richter on the show as well via videotape, and a lot more. So stay with us, ladies and gentlemen, as Sunday night rolls on. We'll be back in just a minute.
Airbags here. This job is now a piece okay, Claire.
But Vince...
Yeah, I'll tell you something, partner. I just might stick around a few more years.
But Vince...
No more dashboard du jour or Vince under glass, huh?
But Vince, look out! Even with airbags, Vince, you still got to remember to buckle your safety belt.
Now you tell me.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
You're going to be better than me, Christopher. I can see it in your eyes. No wasting your life on something you hate. Not for my son. You're going to college. I can see it in your eyes.
I can see it in your eyes. You are going to do something important.
Christopher, time for work.
We've always had the dreams. Now we have the means. Please, support the United Negro College Fund.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Fine. There we are on Wisconsin. Look at that. That is beautiful. Our crew is getting better and better as the season rolls on, and here we are, the end of the year. Anyway, so, all right, that's enough, boys. Enough playing around. There we go. Anyway, I am very happy, ladies and gentlemen, to have our first guest out here. I guess if you're a football player in high school, you dream about playing for Barry Alvarez and the Badgers. And if you're a baseball kid in high school, you dream about playing maybe for the Chicago Cubs, if you're like Kev from Chicago or whatever. But if you're a music person, if you're a band guy like me, you dream about maybe someday being able to play for Mike LeCrone in the University of Wisconsin Band. He's been here for 25 years at the University of Wisconsin-Madison as the Dean of College Band Directors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mike LeCrone. Put that on there. Very good, boys. Thank you very much.
Great band.
Great band. They come in every week. We don't pay them a thing, and they do a great job.
That's the way musicians are. You don't pay them, and they're expected to do a good job.
So anyway, but you're going to the Rose Bowl. How is that going to? I mean, this is great. Wisconsin's
I'm still numb. I'm still numb. It's a dream of my life to be able to go, and I came 25 years ago expecting, well, next year we'll go, and I still got my bags packed from 25 years ago, but it's the most exciting thing we've ever had happen, at least in my time there.
And, I picked up the State Journal today, and there's a little article in here, Badgers' last bowl game, time to remember, and even back then, even back in 1963, it says when the Badgers won their last game there, I think it was over Minnesota, and were summed up, or rather sealed up the victory to go to the Rose Bowl, the band was there to lead everybody up State Street and onto the square. You weren't there.
I wasn't there then, no. But the band's been around.
The band's always been a large part of UW athletics.
See, the band's older than the football team. The band's over 107, 8 years old, and the football team's only about 103 or 4 years old.
Really?
So
I didn't know.
We've been around longer than they have.
Is it kind of a responsibility you take or whatever to lead? I go out, my parents have season tickets to the hockey matches. I get to go once in a while. And, I've gone to other places to hockey matches. And I like hockey, but I'll be honest with you, the hockey game isn't the hockey game without hearing it's going to be a hot time in the old town tonight or whatever. the band makes it for me. Is that something you guys pride yourself on? Or
well, yeah, we think, you know, we had some down years in football, and we sort of took it to heart that we had to keep the crowd entertained, and we really feel like that's our role. Our role is to be a part of the entertainment package, because college athletics is entertainment. So we feel like we've got to keep them going when everything else is a little bit dull. And I think with our band, we're a little off center, as you well know. I mean, we're not the normal band, and so we take pride in going to the events and coming up with things that other bands either can't do or wouldn't do, wouldn't bring themselves to do.
Talk a little bit about, I think a lot of people think, you know, your football team conditions, trains, what have you. I think a lot of people think the band comes over, picks up a trumpet, a trombone, puts on a drum, whatever, and just goes out there and marches once a week. Tell us a little bit about what goes into being a member of the UW Band.
Well, we probably spend more time doing calisthenics than we do practicing our music, and some people say it sounds like that, but really we spend a lot of time on calisthenics. We probably spend 20 minutes on every rehearsal, and of course at the beginning of the season we do two-a-days like a football team would. I've had kids in the band who played on a high school football or basketball team, and they say our conditioning is much more rigorous than what they ran into when they were going out for college or high school football or basketball, something like that. So we spend a lot of time doing it. We have different drills that we do with the instruments and some with just breathing. It's very tough. You know, I read a long time ago that in the average college football game, the ball's in play only about 11 minutes in the whole game. And we go out and we'll do 11 minutes of pregame or 11 minutes of halftime and won't stop. So we have to be in better shape than the football team. At least that's what I tell the coaches.
And, you know, I think a lot of people, my band teacher, Lauren Jensen, played for you.
Oh, yeah,
as
I know Lauren.
percussionist. Sure. And she used to tell stories how you make them, they have to run up and down those stairs at Camp Randall.
We do stairs, we do jogging kind of things, we do endurance things, we do the equivalent of wind sprints, everything that you would expect them to do. And, you know, for just a musician, a lot of the kids who are really just into the music aspect sort of will turn up their nose to it, but then they discover that, you know, it's doing real great things for the breathing. And if you play a wind instrument, you know, that's one of the big problems, is to develop that breath control. So they learn breath control better than anybody else around.
You got back from Japan, obviously, last week. What was that like? We read in the paper how the football team had to wear the dark glasses, adjust themselves to the time difference. Did the band do that? What was it like for you guys to go over there?
We tried to do it. We tried to follow the same thing, but we don't have the luxury. Our schedule is much more varied than the football teams, and you know, musicians are used to late hours. That doesn't bother them at all. So we were that part. We just tried to follow that regimen as much as we could. And frankly, once we got there, our practice schedule was so intense that we didn't have time to really much think about it. I think we all kind of just were dead on the way back, but as you know, you were there at the stadium when we came in, and that crowd really gave a boost to everybody, not only the team, but the 70 kids that I had with me were really feeling, you know, really beat, but that lifted us all up. And I noticed a lot of them grabbed instruments from other people, and although we'd been playing almost constantly for 4 days, they joined in that celebration.
You know, we have a little videotape here. We have our cameras down there. We have a little piece of tape here. We're going to roll real quick. Just we'll tell our viewers it's real rough. Clark and I had just a handheld camcorder. We were kind of holding it above our heads or whatever. So it's rough video. We're just kind of giving people a sense of what it's like and what the band was like once they got off the plane. So Clark, our fine director, filled in for us tonight. If you could go ahead and roll that, please. We'll take a look Monday night at the big red rally after the band and football team got back from Tokyo, Japan. There we go, a little footage of Monday Night Joe Panos there at the end but just you know, the tuba's back there swinging and everything. It's just what a great feeling, what a great atmosphere.
Oh yeah, it is. We haven't come down to earth yet. I mean, we're still flying.
You know, you talk a little bit about your reputation. I think all across the state of Wisconsin, and we have some footage of the spring band concert, and that's always something I think a lot of people come down for. What goes into that, maybe?
Well, normally I start about the 1st of January working on that. I've got other things to do the 1st of January this year, but we normally start preparing for it, and we do a lot of road shows. We take the band out and do maybe 6 or 7 shows out on the road to get us ready for that. We've been in Platteville. We were here about 6 or 7 years ago, and it's become a monster because we get lighting equipment from theatrical companies all over the Midwest and sound, and we bring in guest artists, and it's become something that's the major part of our semester after the football season is over.
We have a clip of this. Are we ready with that, Chuck? So go to just a quick clip of the spring band concert. Give people a taste. I've been there once. It's something to see, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Last year, courtesy of WHA Television. Go ahead and roll it, folks. And there you have it, the varsity spring band concert. Wow.
That reminds me, I got a lot of work to do.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, maybe we have a little message from Congressman Scott Klug. We talk to him about the band, and then maybe talk about some preparations for the Rose Bowl. We'll do that in 1 minute after 1 minute timeout, and Sunday night continues. Thanks for joining us as our Rose Bowl special show rolls on.
Okay, attention asthma and allergy sufferers. The following demonstration will show you how to avoid sneezing, wheezing, watery eyes, and other discomforts associated with your condition. Okay, Joe, ready when you are. First, shut out all industrial pollutants. Don't expose yourself to cigarette smoke. Avoid exhaust fumes. How you doing, Joe? Good, good. Don't breathe in any dirt. Don't breathe in any dust particles. Let's see.
Pollen.
What?
Pollen!
Oh, right. Avoid pollen. Thanks, Joe. Tree pollen and grass pollen. Don't be around ragweed. Get rid of all animal hair. Oh, gee, I'm sorry, Joe. Anyway, stay away from moles. Don't breathe the air on hot days. Boy, this must be difficult, huh, Joe? You know, there is another way. There are treatments available, and they work, Joe. You should find out about them. With the right treatment, asthma and allergy sufferers can all breathe much easier. For free information, call this number.
And welcome back to Sunday Night. Todd Albaugh along with Mike LaCrone, University of Wisconsin band director. And we talked before the break a little bit about what goes into going out there to the Rose Bowl. You just told me during the break you sent one of your assistants out to scout things out.
Well, when I got off the bus Monday night, one of the athletic directors handed me a packet about that thick, and he said, you got to read through that and get all the forms ready to hand back. It involves everything from music clearance. which we had to get for everything that we're going to be playing, both in the parade and at the game. We had to get all that cleared. We have to get, of course, hotel ready. We've got to get practice sites. We've got to get buses lined up. We have to get appearances at the various places. We're already lined up for Knott's Berry Farm, for Disneyland, and we think I'll know tonight later if we have Universal Studios. We have to put all that together, plus keep the Rose Committee happy, because they're very fussy about that parade and everything that goes with it. And we have to have everything approved that we're going to do, even the script that we're going to submit for the halftime show. So it's a mountain of work to do, but it's certainly nothing I'm complaining about.
I talked to you down at the Monday night at the Big Red Rally. You know, what does it mean to march in a parade like this for a band member? Because, I mean, for a football player, getting to the Rose Bowl is the pinnacle. I mean, that's what you work towards. But from a band player's perspective.
Well, they keep telling us that there's going to be something like 400 million people see this parade because it's all over the world. And that plus the million that are on site, I mean, we haven't had any audience like that. And, of course, that's what, you know, you see that parade so many times on television, we all have, and actually be part of it. I don't think any of us ready. Of course, we're not a parade band, so we were out yesterday marching around streets around Camp Randall trying to get ready for this thing, because we're used to the football field, but we have to get ready for a whole new venue.
How long is the parade route?
5.5 miles.
It's a lot of playing, isn't it?
Yeah, and the bass drummers are already going to the weight room trying to get beefed up.
I played cymbals, you know. I had to, Lauren taught me how to twirl, of course, from you, and that's a long ways to play.
You know, they're not looking forward to that part. And like they say they say make sure they go to the bathroom because the next one's 5.5 miles away.
You know, we went down this week and talked to Congressman Scott Klug a little bit about the Rose Bowl and some other things will air on some other programs later on. But we asked him specifically about the band and what his ideas of it were. So we'll roll that real quick and just a little bit of Congressman Scott Klug on the University of Wisconsin Marching Band. And we have Mike LeCrone on tonight, too, and wow, what a job he's done with the band, and of course they flew over to Tokyo, and I know I'm going to talk about tonight on the show is that I think if you go to a hockey game, or whether it's the fifth quarter football game, the game was great, and I love the athletics, but the band really makes it for me.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is that I've got nephews who are up in Merrill, just north of Wausau, both of whom play in high school bands, and who want to come to UW to play in the band, which is an interesting recruiting technique. I mean, to think about the fact that, you know, most kids would dream about coming here to play football, but there's a lot of Wisconsin kids who dream about coming here to play in that band one day, and Mike's done a terrific job. And probably the best show in town is the band concert in the spring, and the tickets are just about impossible to get, and if your viewers are interested in seeing them, they should make sure they get a chance to reserve seats early on, but it's a terrific show, and we try to go every year.
Congressman Scott Klug there.
What a great plug.
Well, he's up for re-election next year. So.
You got my vote.
But it is a fabulous show this spring. Any other things, any other plans you're trying to make here for Pasadena before you get out there?
Well, the main thing is just to get the show ready right now. We're supposedly... we've got a whole list of television people to call back. I know we have an ABC taping that has been set in Disneyland, which they're going to show as part of their production during that whole weekend, and we know that's set. And the Universal Studios is trying to line something up there. They're talking about lining us up with Bill Shatner, who is the Grand Marshal of this year's parade. And the kids
Rescue 911.
That's right. And all the Star Trek fans, you know, are just in the band are really crazy about that idea. So, you know, we know that we're going to be involved. And there's a great banquet they call the Big Ten Banquet of Champions, and they sent me a list of the potential talent, and it's you see names like Jay Leno on there, and Chris Farley, and Steinfeld. You know, you say we're going to be there at that event. I mean, it's really almost mind-boggling.
Oh, that's really neat. One thing I wanted to touch on before I let you go is I know you arrange a lot of the songs. I know for one, You Said It All, the Bud song. I think a lot of people think you wrote that song. And I mean, it's almost become synonymous with Wisconsin. I mean, On Wisconsin is an official school song, but the Bud song, I think it almost means as much, or if not, in some cases, more to people.
It's become a Wisconsin song, and the Rose Committee said, "Oh, of course you're going to play it." I thought maybe they might object since it did have a connotation with a commercial company, but I wish I had the royalty that Steve Carman, the writer, gets off of that.
But you arrange Space Badgers, is it?
Yeah,
that you do, and a lot. How long does it take to write something like that?
Well,
what do you do?
If you get the idea, it doesn't take very long to put it on paper. It's like anything. Ideas are the hardest thing once you get the idea. And you know, I depend on the students for some of my best ideas. They'll come to me and say, try this, and it works. We do an 1812 that actually overture that with Wisconsin theme that one of the students of the band brought to me about 10 or 12 years ago. So I'll take all the credit for it, but it's really a lot of it comes from a student.
So what are you going to go out? What day do you actually have to?
We're leaving the 27th. We're leaving the 27th, and we're coming back the night after the game.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's just the way charters work,
yeah.
you know.
So do you need anybody to help carry any of your bags?
Yeah, you could probably. I've got a lot of volunteers.
We're in Scott Klug's office. He had a call from some woman out in Washington, D.C. that wanted Rose Bowl tickets. He got off the phone and goes, yeah, I got about 8 of them in my pocket. Yeah. He's not even going.
Oh, I've heard from friends I haven't heard from in years.
Well, hey, we'll be sitting here in Wisconsin, those of us that don't have tickets, watching you, and really, we're very proud of you and the band. And it's special, I think, from a Wisconsin standpoint, to have an organization like that representing us.
Well, we appreciate that.
Thanks a lot for making the trip down, and look forward to hearing from you out past
Watch for us at the Rose Parade.
All right. Mike LaCroix, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for being on here. When we come back, we will, yes, indeed, we will roll on with some singing talent, so stay tuned for that. Also, we have Deion Kempthorne, one of the members of the 1963 Rose Bowl team, and our own Sunday night band. All that coming up, so stay tuned.
Endangered species? I have a sick child to worry about.
You know, the willow tree gave us aspirin, the rosy periwinkle treatments for cancer, and the octopus makes a chemical to fight high blood pressure. But what miracle drugs will never be found if the species that provide them become extinct?
Species extinction? We've got our hands full trying to feed our family.
Food crops are made more bug and disease resistant by crossing them with wild plants. That can mean lower prices.
Look, I got a business to run.
Well, that wax he's using comes from the carnauba plant. And simple seaweeds benefit all kinds of businesses with ingredients for paints, fire extinguishers, and hundreds of foods. Fact is, there's something in nature for everyone. With countless species in jeopardy and more than 100 becoming extinct every day, can we really afford not to protect them? To learn more, call the National Wildlife Federation at 1-800-824-WILD.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday night. And wow, great to have Mike LaCroix here, and always been kind of a dream of mine to meet him and have him on his show. So I really appreciate him making the trek down to Platteville. He has a meeting to get ready for the Rose Bowl yet tonight, so we appreciate him stopping by and saying hello. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this summer I had an interesting trip. I drove about 700 miles one way to see a very good friend of mine from high school get married. And while I was there, I got to meet his lovely wife, too, as well, and found out that she and her sister have great voices and are very, very talented. And I said, ladies, you got to come on the show, because we need talent, and you're it. So they have been good enough to do that. Brooke and Susie drove up from the suburbs of Chicago, and her sister has come all the way from North Platte, and I know what kind of a drive that could be. So, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we will bring them on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, and now you know what? It's Tammy, but I forgot your last name. What is it? Help me out, Tammy. Gosnell. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Susie Dobbs and Tammy Gosnell.
Try to
Come on over, guys, and have a seat here just quickly. They said they didn't really want to come on and talk to me. I don't know why. Was I that bad this summer? But come on over and have a quick seat here because, you know, this is an original song. And I want to talk. Why don't you sit here? Just pick up those mics and then clip them on there. And, you know, Tammy, I'm sorry. You know, I forget your name.
Right,
and, you
no
know,
big deal.
Sly put it best when he was here. He's a local music disc jockey guy. Sly called me a pinhead, and I think that's pretty much right. But it was written by you, Tammy, right? That song? And
yes, it was.
How long did it take you to write that?
I wrote it in about an hour.
Really? How long ago?
A couple weeks ago, maybe.
Really? You just slapped it together and said you're coming out to do the show.
Yep,
wow. I did. So how was the trip out? It's a long drive from North Platte.
Well, actually, I didn't drive. I flew.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah. Well, that's good.
Actually, I drove to Denver, and I flew from Denver.
You're on, what, 173 miles or so from Denver?
276.
Oh, 200. Well, you know, I thought I saw a sign for around that, but, you know, by that time I was a little loopy. So how are you doing, Susie?
Good.
It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, quite a while.
How's Brooke doing?
He's okay.
He's here in the audience tonight. And, of course, Brooke and I went to high school together. And let me tell you, he was one wild guy in high school. The stories I can tell about Brooke Tubbs.
I can just imagine.
It's not true. He is always somebody I really have quite seriously admired. And Brooke has always been kind of a person I'd like to be more like. He's always been himself with everybody he's ever been around, and consider him a very good friend. He's a great guy, and I'm glad you guys came out. So did you sing a lot together when you were younger?
Actually, when we were about, I was probably 12 or 13. How old would you have been?
Probably 6.
She was young. We started singing, I Was Country when country wasn't cool, and then we sang Ebony and Ivory, and
what do you have for the glasses? Or
yeah, well, I usually did that part.
She was taking care of that.
Yeah, I did.
So you sang for Susie and Brooke's wedding at the church.
Yes.
You guys sing a lot in church when you were younger, too?
No, actually, that was the first time I'd ever sang in a church.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The unfound talent. The Pope never called you?
No.
Nothing?
No calls. I was waiting by my phone, waiting for it to ring. That's it. So.
Now, Susie, I know you went down last summer to Nashville.
Right.
And did some recording down there. Are you going to be on Solid Gold albums pretty soon?
No.
Tell us, what was that about?
I'm kidding. Actually, I went down. I actually first had to send in a tape to TNN for a show called Be a Star, and then that goes through the first round, and then they called me and asked me to come down and audition for the program. And they have so many people auditioning, they have up to a year to call you back. So that was in September. So I have about another 6 months, I suppose.
So you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Might work out. You also have passed your state boards.
That's true.
Recently for
radiation therapy.
So radiation therapy. Are you going to go into that now? You're looking for a job in that area?
I've already got a job.
So you can sing. Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, wow, congratulations.
Right. You can practice in radiation therapy without passing your boards. You get a temporary license that lasts you for 2 years, but I get paid more now.
So you can sing to people as they're getting x-rayed or something.
Right.
Wait, just really quickly before I leave, look at this. I found this. I save way too much. But look at this. I found a copy of the North Platte Telegraph from September 5th of this summer. Now look at this. This was on the sports page. I remember listening to this radio on this game of the radio when I went out to your wedding, and it was when the Huskers robbed 76-14 over North Texas or West Texas or whatever the heck it is. But who did they beat there? For North Texas, that's where they beat. And whoever thought back then that they were going for the national championship now? I hear you guys, your dad is going to has season tickets for these guys,
That's
the Cornhuskers?
right, yeah.
Did you go to a lot of games out there in Lincoln?
I've been to a few.
Really?
But,
are you rooting for them?
Of course, absolutely.
So is there any? Well, now, I hope Brooks a Badger fan. Is he? Now, are you guys kind of
He
like?
wants to see Nebraska play Wisconsin, and I've already told him what the outcome would be. Nebraska would kill him.
Well, you know, I don't know. I gotta think the Badgers are gonna win there. But hey, I really appreciate you guys coming out. I really appreciate you, Tammy, coming all the way from North Platte. I wish you the best of luck. And we ain't the Ed Sullivan Show, so don't expect a lot of calls from this thing. But I really appreciate you coming out and making our show a lot better for having you guys here.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have somebody talking through the roof here all of a sudden. Drunk people in Platteville. Maybe Troy Everson, our sidekick, finally. We found him finally. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Susie Dobbs and Tammy Gosnell. Give them a big hand. When we come back, Dion Kempthorpe. Stay tuned where you're at.
cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Tony had some drinks, a few joints, and got into a fatal accident tonight. Only he doesn't know it yet. Drugs make you forget. And if you forget how risky sex can be, you could catch the AIDS virus and not know it for months, even years. AIDS, another way drugs can kill.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Yes, indeed, Sunday night. And wow, what a show! What a way to go out! What a way to pinnacle at the end and go out with a bang! I'm telling you. The Gosnell and Dobbs sisters there blew the roof off the place, as Letterman might say. But, you know, speaking of blowing the roof off the place, it was 31 years ago that the Wisconsin Badgers last blew the roof off the football thing in the state of Wisconsin. And one of the members from that team is here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the University of Wisconsin Center Richland, former Badger player from the 63 Rose Bowl team. Get those dentures fixed tomorrow. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dion Kempthorne. How you doing?
Rod, I'm doing good. Thank
Great. We'll pick that up there and have you put that on. A little water.
All right, thank you.
So how you been?
I've been great.
Now, you know, it's maybe kind of dangerous having you on because you were my dean for about a year and a half while I was up at Richland Center, the center school up there. And, you know, I still say it was my best education, in all seriousness.
I'm glad to hear that.
It was a great way to begin, as the slogan says.
That's what our slogan is, and I hope that's
right.
true.
So things all right back at Richland Center? Any big news?
We're great. No, we're busy, getting ready for the end of the semester like everybody.
Sounds good. You know, we had you on here basically to, well, talk about Richland Center. That's great.
That's always a good idea.
But you were a member of the 1962 football team and made it out to the 63 Rose Bowl. And we've heard so much talk about, you know, comparing the two teams and this and that. But for you, what does it mean to you as a former player? What does it mean 31 years later to see the Badgers go back?
Well, it means that 31 years went awfully fast, and it went awfully slowly, too, I think. Because we should be going more often, as Mike LeCrone says. This sweater here goes back to 1962 or so, so it's older than you are, and almost as old as I am. So it means a lot, though. I think we... in Wisconsin, we haven't been spoiled like some teams that go more frequently. So it's exciting with so much time behind us and to be going again.
What was it like to play back then? I mean, obviously the game was different. You played on both sides of the ball. Yeah. You weren't just offense. What was it like playing back then?
Well, it was exhausting. I've been reading all the articles this week and recently comparing the 62 team and the 93 team, and you really can't compare them, of course, because they're very different kinds of football and different ages. The players now are so specialized and so excellent with they're bigger and faster and stronger. As I was telling a friend the other day, but other than that, they weren't as good as we were. The difference, I think, really was the way in which a player was totally in the game then, much less specialized, and we played on offense and on defense. So my job was to go out in an afternoon and play linebacker on defense, which is tiring enough, and then at the same time play guard on offense. So.
What was it like when you came out on the field at Camp Randall? The band was there, they were playing, and you had 70,000 people in the stands, whatever. What is it like?
It's absolutely I grew up in the 50s. I was 10 years old when Wisconsin went to the Rose Bowl the first time in 1953, and Alan Amici at that time was the All-American and my boyhood hero. So I had spent a childhood dreaming about being a football player and came from the country nearby here and finally ended up at Madison, and it never changed, but what coming out of that ramp onto the field is like being spilled absolutely into another dimension. I think religious people would call it an epiphany or something. Combination of adrenaline and the band, and we used to once in a while have these jets that would tear the sky open coming across, and we play the Star Spangled Banner, and if you were strong enough not to faint after that, then you were ready to play.
I read the paper here, I was mentioning the article from 63. and about after you guys, I guess you sold it up against Minnesota at home at Camp Randall, is that right? Then you knew, and there was a big rally or something afterwards to the square. Were you part of that? Did you go up there?
It was part of all of it.
What was it like?
As a matter of fact, the end of that season, in some ways, I think the players in that team would agree was a more momentous time for us than perhaps even the Rose Bowl. Minnesota had gone to the Rose Bowl the year before. That kind of sets the stage for this game. Coming into the last game of the year, we're playing Minnesota, and they were angry because we had beaten them in Minneapolis the year before, just before they went to Rose Bowl. It was kind of our farewell to them as they took that trip.
And get the Paul Bunyan axe.
Yeah, and get Paul Bunyan axe. And then they came into Camp Randall just mad as hornets. And it was already determined, I think, at that point that they couldn't go to the Rose Bowl again because they'd gone the year before. But we're playing for the Big Ten Championship to have it clean and complete. So it was a major game for us. And our feeling was, of course, that we would be pleased to go to the Rose Bowl, but we didn't want to go as co-champs. We wanted to win that last game. But it was a knockdown, drag-out affair, and Minnesota had a terrific team.
Oh, that's really neat.
But the town went crazy, of course.
we have a little video here. We interviewed, I was telling Michael Crowe, interviewed Scott Klug this week, and you work with Scott a little bit now, since he represents Richland Center. You're the dean there.
That's right.
So we asked him about you and the Rose Bowl. So maybe move that monitor over a little bit so Dion can see it. Thank you very much, Chad Richter, one of our... Chad Richter. I get my people confused.
Pat Richter.
Anyway, Chad Roto-Rooter, as we affectionately call him, is our camera person. Thank you for moving that. Anyway, why don't you go ahead and roll that, Clark, and we'll take a look now. Scott Klug on Dion Kempthorne and his playing days at Wisconsin. Well, you know, we wanted just to have you on the show. Of course, it's the big Rose Bowl weekend. We have Michael Crone on tonight live, and we have Dion Kempthorne on. And you've worked with Dion a little bit. Of course, you represent Richland Center now and the campus up there. And what kind of guy is Dion now? Is he the kind of football player that you think would have done well back in '63? Or
in the old days, yeah, maybe. I think you'd have a tough time keeping up with him now. But it's tough to compare. I think even the '63 team with this year's team, because a lot of the guys in '63 went both ways. It was a different era. And there were some tremendous athletes, obviously, Pat Richter included. And I can remember listening to that game, as I think every kid who grew up in Wisconsin did. In my case, on the radio, I think because we'd given up watching it on television in the first half because the Badgers stunk the place up. Wow. And sitting with my dad in the basement, kind of listening to Vander Kellen and Richter score that last half. And it really was a magical moment. And I mean, it's a sad comment on Wisconsin football that I had to now have kids of my own who are 10 years old to see the repeat of it. But I think, obviously, Barry and Pat have done a terrific job, and like everybody else, we've sweated out every play this season.
There we have Congressman Scott Klug. On thoughts on Dion Kempthorne. But we also caught up with another one of your old teammates, Pat Richter, at the Big Red Rally on Monday night. And we're going to play that now. And to our listening audience, our viewing audience, I should say, the audio is a little low, so you might have to turn up your TV sets. But we asked him about you at the end, and so we'll roll that now, too, if you will, Clark. Allison Schendel, our video queen back there in the back room, lining things up right now. We're here at Camp Randall now talking to the athletic director of the University of Wisconsin, Pat Richter. And Pat, what a great win for your team.
It really was. They were focused when they went over there. We had a great time. I enjoyed the sights, a little bit of culture, and certainly from day one, we were just focused on the victory, and the team knew what they had to do and did it.
Of course, the key phrase going around from the outhouse to the penthouse. And back in 1990, when you made the decision to hire Barry Alvarez, did you ever envision 4 years later you going to the Rose Bowl?
Not in 4 years. I think you certainly envisioned going to the Rose Bowl and vying for a national championship someday, but not in 4 years. And they've done a terrific job, and the team was focused, had a great leadership, and they just did an outstanding job this year.
An opportunity to talk to Dion Kempthorne, who was on the the 1963 Rose Bowl team, and he said that back then maybe a different kind of atmosphere surrounding your team. It wasn't just a different game back then. Maybe there's been a lot of comparisons, but just in your words.
Well, it was. Of course, the team had gone in '60. We went in '63, so we repeated soon after. And I don't think really have full appreciation of how hard it is to go back there. After 31 years, I think people don't understand that.
And, of course, very quickly, the final thought, the band went over with you, the cheerleaders were there. The fan support's been outstanding all across campus and really all across the state of Wisconsin.
It really has, and we're pleased to see that, and we hope we get a big crowd out of Pasadena. It looks like we will, and so we're pleased about that as well.
Well, thanks a lot for taking the time, and good luck out in Pasadena.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pat Richter there, University of Wisconsin Athletic Director, and what was Pat Richter like back then? I mean, now he's so upstanding. He used to be the big guy, Oscar Mayer. What was he like back then?
Pat Richter, I was just thinking while I was watching that clip that he hasn't changed in some ways. He was always a an awfully sturdy fellow. You know, he's the last 9-letter man at Wisconsin. He's in all sports. This is a terrific athlete, yeah. Wow. As a matter of fact, I once said to him that he canceled baseball so that no one else could become a 9-letter man. But I don't think that was his motive, actually. But no, 30 years hasn't made a big difference in Pat, actually. He seems, in many ways, the same. He's always very stable and very, very athletic and very conscientious. He's done so well. I think what a nostalgic time this must be for him. Yeah. To go back as athletic director in 31 years.
Well, it's pretty neat having you here on the show as well. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, our Sunday night band is going to have an original tune for us. All kinds of original music right here tonight. Dion, if you would, stay here a little bit longer with us. Please. And he'll be back with us towards the end of the show. So right now, stay where you're at. We'll take a break. Be back in 1 minute on Sunday night. Stay tuned.
These airbags here, this job is now a piece of cake, Claire.
But Vince...
Yeah, I'll tell you something, partner. I just might stick around a few more years.
But Vince...
No more dashboard du jour or Vince under glass, huh?
But Vince, look out! Even with airbags, Vince, you still got to remember to buckle your safety belt.
Now you tell me.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
You're going to be better than me, Christopher. I can see it in your eyes. No wasting your life on something you hate. Not for my son. You're going to college. I can see it in your eyes.
I can see it in your eyes. You are going to do something important.
Christopher, time for work.
We've always had the dreams. Now we have the means. Please, support the United Negro College Fund.
And welcome back to Sunday night. Dion Kempthorne for the 63 Rose Bowl team sitting in for Troy Everson tonight.
Troy, yeah.
You remember Troy?
I remember Troy. I'm proud to be in his share.
What happened to him? Jeez, he's not here.
I don't know. I didn't know.
He was never really a tardy
he didn't,
at Richland Center.
He didn't let me know. He never called me as dean when he was absent either.
Anyway, we are very pleased to feature our fine Sunday night band. And as I said, we joke around with them here and there. But I really do appreciate them coming in, dealing with our disorganization from time to time. And it means a lot to me to have them along this semester. It's been outstanding. And Tom, was this tune written by you and Mark together or just by you?
Yeah, Mark and I wrote this about 4 years ago.
All right, so Tom Vandenhoven and Mark Siegenthaler, a tune called what, Tom?
Traffic in Chicago.
Traffic in Chicago. Please welcome them, ladies and gentlemen, the Sunday Night Band and Traffic in Chicago. Yeah, good job. And one more time, just introduce the boys real quick to make sure they get some press time here, some air time.
All right, we have John Krinke on the drums.
Yeah.
Mark Siegenthaler on piano. Paul Backstrom on bass. And I'm Tom Vandenhoven.
Great job, and thanks a lot, Tom. I really do appreciate you coming back. And now if we do something like this next semester, will you maybe come back and chant us? Yeah. Maybe? Thanks a lot. We're going to take a quick break, and hi, over here. A little song, a little dance anyway. We'll be back in about 1 minute and wrap things up on our Rose Bowl special. Dion Kempthorne is still around. Maybe we'll ask him something before we leave. Back in 30 seconds or 1 minute, whatever Clark wants to do after this. Stay with us.
Okay, attention asthma and allergy sufferers. The following demonstration will show you how to avoid sneezing, wheezing, watery eyes, and other discomforts associated with your condition. Okay, Joe, ready when you are. First, shut out all industrial pollutants. Don't expose yourself to cigarette smoke. Avoid exhaust fumes. How you doing, Joe? Good, good. Don't breathe in any dirt. Don't breathe in any dust particles. Let's see.
Pollen.
What?
Pollen!
Oh, right. Avoid pollen. Thanks, Joe. Tree pollen and grass pollen. Don't be around ragweed. Get rid of all animal hair. Oh, gee, I'm sorry, Joe. Anyway, stay away from moles. Don't breathe the air on hot days. Boy, this must be difficult, huh, Joe? You know, there is another way. There are treatments available, and they work, Joe. You should find out about them. With the right treatment, asthma and allergy sufferers can all breathe much easier. For free information, call this number.
We needed to finish, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sunday night here, and still chatting with Dion Kempthorne from the '63 Rose Bowl team. And you were didn't actually get to play in the game. You played all season, and you went out to Pasadena. But why not?
That's right, because after the Minnesota game that year, I had internal hemorrhaging and was in the hospital, and then the doctors trying to cure me made me sicker with the blood transfusion. I had a big reaction to that, so I ended up being there, but they wouldn't let me go in the game.
What was it like being down the field though in Pasadena?
It's a special event. You know, it's the granddaddy of all the Rose Bowls, of all the bowls, I think. And then I think it was more special than it is now, if that's possible, since there's been a proliferation of football games and postseason bowls. But
are you going out this year?
Well, you know, I'm going to call the athletic director, Richter, my old teammate, and it turns out that the next year I had an extra year of eligibility because of injury, and I haven't used that yet. So what I'm thinking is that that last game ended. The idea was we had another minute, we'd have beaten Southern Cal. It was 42-37. So I may go, but I'm going to ask first if I could play in it rather than attend it.
Sure, I think you got it.
It's pretty clear I'm in shape and would be able to do all right. So it's
you're tan, rested, and ready.
That's right. I've had a 30-year rest, and I'm ready to go in for the first 2 minutes.
Now, do you need anybody to help carry your bags? You know, basically, I'm mooching here. Basically, that's what I'm looking at.
We'll see.
So, what do you, any big predictions for the game this year?
Yeah,
of course, Wisconsin has never won a Rose Bowl.
Wisconsin's never won a Rose Bowl, and when we went in '63, we were trying to avenge a terrible loss. The Washington Huskies had beaten us 44-9 or something. So I think we're going to win this time. It'll be 28-14, I think.
28-14.
That would be my guess.
All right. Deon Kempthorne, thank you very much for coming down and spending some time with us here. And we wish the Badgers the best luck, of course. Also want to thank our very special guests as well, Susie Dobbs and Tammy Gosnell, for being with us all the way from North Platte and Chicago, respectively there. Want to thank the Sunday Night Band, Tom Vandenhoven and the boys. Doc Lewis, thanks a lot for sitting in with us tonight as well. Also want to thank University of Wisconsin Band Director Mike LaCrone for being here. And also thank Clothes for Him in downtown Platteville for providing us with this fine Rose Bowl wardrobe. And as I said, you can pick up yours right downtown Platteville. It's the best place to go. Other than that, that'll about wrap things up as far as this semester. We'll be back hopefully next semester with some new broadcasts, maybe on a monthly basis or whatever. We're negotiating with the network. That's what we're doing right now, you know. So we'll see what we get. I'm looking for some pay. That's what I'm looking for. But no, thank you for tuning in each and every week. Thank you for the people who come out to the studio audience. And take care, everyone. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and go Badgers. We'll see you next semester on Sunday night.